Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Another month has gone by. Another monthly TBR monthly reading wrap up is here. May was a really weird month reading wise. I entered a little bit of a slump. I had to get myself out of it. I had 2 DNFs, which I never DNF books, but this month needed to happen because I knew that we were not gonna pull through with those books. And I have a pretty ambitious June TBR as well, so let's get started. Starting with the 4 books I read in the month of May. The first one that I read is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I started reading this in April, end of April, but I went on holiday, so I kind of left it, so it kind of took me 2 weeks to finish, but we did it. I rated it 5 stars. Guy falls in love first. It's a part of a trilogy that I've not read, so you don't need to read the first 2 books in the series to understand the premise of this book. But it's about Justin and Emma. They meet through a Reddit thread. Am I the asshole? Justin is convinced that he has a curse, that whoever he dates, he breaks up with him, and then she goes on and finds the love of her life. And funnily enough, Emma thinks she's got the same curse. Whoever she's dating, they break up, and then he goes on and find his love of his life. So they make a little pact. If these 2 date, they'll break the curse and then they'll find the love of their life. Guys, it's a lot. There's a lot of trauma going on both their sides. She's got loads of issues with her mom, where she comes in and just brings the chaos, and then Justin's got issues with his mother. Life gets too real, guys, but the book is so sad, but like not to the point that you would cry, because I didn't cry, but I thought it was just beautifully written. It was my first Abby Jimenez book, and that made me just want to read all of the rest of the books that she's wrote, because this was truly perfect. The way she wrote it, the story was so deep. It wasn't just like a romance, it was perfect. You can tell by my annotations that I thoroughly enjoyed this book. The next book is none other than The Idea of You, which just became a movie on Amazon Prime, so I was really intrigued to read the book first and then watch the movie. 60 pages in, I DNF'd this book. I thought it was not good. I thought 60 pages in and they were already going for it. You know, I was like, where's the plot? Where's the slow burn? It was not for me. It's very much like Wattpad fanfic, which I enjoy that, but I didn't like the book. So then I watched the movie and it still didn't make me want to read the book. Like, I thought the movie was so cringe, but it was also fun. So I would recommend you watching it if you like this type of, like, you write songs for me, like, it was just, I didn't like this, so I DNF'd it. Then that's where I started entering the reading slump. I was like, okay, when it's something that's gonna pick me up, that's gonna make me get back into reading again, and there's only one author that can do that for me, and that's no other than Miss Elsie Silver. She can put me out of a slump every single time. She's done it before and she's done it again. I love her writing so much. Her stories are so easy to follow and get into. The banter, the tension, the tropes, everything that she writes, I love. This part of the Justin Spring series is the 3rd book in the series. I'm trying to slow down the process of me reading these books because they're so good. I just don't want them to end. Like, I'm itching to pick up the next one, but I don't want to do it because I know I'm only gonna have 1 book left. This was so good. This is about Jasper and Sloane. This was my favorite of the series so far. Jasper is a world famous hockey player and Sloane is a ballerina. They're childhood best friends, but Sloane is about to marry someone else. She's a people pleaser. She can't say no. She can't stand up for herself, which I think this is where the title comes from. In that journey, in the whole story, it shows us her character development and how she learns to stand up for herself, to her father especially. Best friends to lovers, I will eat this shit up. I don't know what it is about it, but especially like childhood friends to lovers. This was golden. This was one of my 6-star reads for the year so far, and I knew Miss Elsie Silver would not disappoint because I ate this book up in only just a few days and I just miss them. I miss them already. I'm gonna do a reread of Justin Springs at some point. So 6 stars for Powerless. I was in such a summery romance cute mood, so I picked up Betrayed by Emily Henry. Finally, It happened, guys. I read Beach Read. I read Happy Place last year, and if you don't know, I didn't love Happy Place. I rated it 2 stars. It was not the read for me. I was really annoyed. So I thought I'd pick up Beach Read, give her another chance because I liked her writing style. I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. It wasn't a solid 5-star because I felt like something was missing, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was. So you follow January and Gus. They went to the same university. They were both writers. January had always had this idea that Gus is her rival. She ends up moving into her father's beach house, which was also her father's house with his mistress. So he had a whole other life with his mistress in this beach house. It's not a spoiler, by the way, you get that on the first page. She has no money, no books on the way, so she needs somewhere to stay. And then guess who ends up being her neighbor? Gus. And the whole setting and the vibe of the beach and the beach house in a small little town by the beach, I'm eating this shit up. It was so good. And I did get the US cover because if you've been here before, you know my beef with UK covers and UK books, because the UK books are not floppy, but this is floppy and I love it. So 4.5 stars for Miss Emily Henry. And then the last book I finished in the month of May, Harry Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was in the mood for something literary fiction. I don't know why. I felt like I had so much romance in the month of May that I felt like I needed a little bit of change, but I was not in a fantasy mood. So she is the only one I trust when it comes to literary fiction. Not that I've read many, but I know the things that she writes will not make me feel bored. I read Daisy Jones No 6 last summer, and after a year I narrowed it down to 5 stars because it can only be a 5-star. Like, if after a year I'm still thinking about it and rewatching the show, it's a 5-star. So I was like, I need to read more of Taylor Jenkins Reid. So pick this one up because I've seen Heather saying that it was one of her top reads in 2023, and I trust her. Okay, I finished it in 2 days, like in a weekend. I couldn't stop reading it. It's very heavy on the tennis talk, so if you don't like that or you feel you're not gonna like it, then maybe this is not for you. Harry used to be the #1 tennis player in the world. She's won the most Grand Slams in women's singles. Is that what it's called? Women's singles? I think so. While she was on the top, she hurt her knee, so she decides to retire. And then after I think 6 years of her retirement, this other girl, the younger girl, comes to the top, and she's so close to breaking her Grand Slam record. Harry cannot stand the idea of that, so she's like, I'm coming back to the tennis game. This book has so, I don't even know how to explain it. It made me think so much. It shows the women empowerment and how hard it was for women to be on the top, especially in a sport back in the 70s and 80s. It just shows her determination to be to the top and be the best that she can be, and she did that. But it also shows that she knew nothing other than tennis, nothing other than being on the top, being the best, because she started training from a very, very young age because her father was a tennis player as well, so he used to train her. And it also shows the relationship with her father throughout the whole career, which I feel like is very deep and very beautiful. It was a lot that I felt in this book. It was beautiful. I loved the tennis aspect of it. It was so refreshing to read about tennis, because if you don't know, I used to play a little bit of tennis, so I was like, oh, I know all these terms. It was definitely something different than what I usually read, and I would definitely recommend you reading it this summer because it just made me think. It made me a little bit angry, but it also made me think, and I liked it. I ended up giving it 3.5 because at the end it made me kind of angry. This book had a lot to it, so I think a 3.5 is like a solid rating for me for a literary fiction book, which is not usually my genre. Taylor Jenkins Reid, she can do story like you think these people that you're reading about are real. Like, I don't know how she does that. When I was reading Daisy Jones No 6, I had to Google, is Daisy Jones No 6 a real band? Because that's how real she makes it. It's not, by the way, but you get it. So that's all the books I read in May. I forgot about my second DNF because I had a second DNF. Ninth House by Bardugo. I could not get into this book for the life of me. I decided I'm gonna pick this one up after Betrayed because I was like, ooh, I need something different. I made it to, we got dog-eared the page. I've not even finished the chapter that I was at. I was like, I'm done. Page 80. I couldn't get into it. The terms were so difficult. The third person and the way she was describing was so difficult. It took so much brain power. So much brain power to get me through this book. I couldn't do it. It's much more of a fall read, so maybe like around October, November time I might pick it up again. We'll see how we feel about that, because I really want to understand and get into the story because I've heard so many good things about it, but it was so hard, so I decided to leave it for now. And moving on to my June TBR. I'm so excited about my June TBR. First of all, I got a Kindle, which came today. So my first book that I want to finish in June is the one that I'm currently reading, Say You Swear by Megan Brindley. This is about a love triangle, and let me tell you, I'm ending this up. I'm on page, wait, let me unlock my Kindle so I can show you. I'm at chapter 15, page 139, and I'm eating the shit up. It's so good. So this is the first book I want to finish in the month of June. And then I did go book shopping and I got some books that I'm really excited to read, so they are on my June TBR. Talking about Taylor Jenkins Reid, Malibu Rising. This book has been around forever. It was the beginning of book talk. I think it's my time to read it. It's part of the little celebrity series. I have Malibu Rising, Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and Six, and Carrie Soto is back. I want to read them all. So I got Malibu Rising. The plot of this is so interesting. So again, it takes place in the 80s, like most of her books in that universe. It's the day of Nina Riva's annual end of summer party. That alone. Basically, they're very popular. By midnight, the party will be completely out of control. By morning, the Riva mansion will have gone up in flames. Okay. But before that, the alcohol will flow, the music will play, and secrets will come bubbling to the surface. This is tea in a book, and I couldn't be more excited. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I can't wait. You have no idea. I've seen a TikTok about a girl talking about the Greek mythology inspired books like Song of Achilles and all that, and I don't know how interested I would be in a story with Greek mythology, because considering I am Greek, I've had Greek mythology shoved down my throat for the duration of all the school years basically, so I'm sick of it. But maybe now that I'm an adult, I'm in a bit of a different mindset, so maybe it's time to get back into it. I don't know. I've seen a girl talking about this book, and that's all it takes for me to buy the book. This is Circe by Madeline Miller. She's the one that wrote Song of Achilles. And this is about Circe, and is it Helios? Odysseus? No, it's Odysseus. Weird for me to say those names in English, but we'll do. It sounded so interesting, and it's about the women's rights and women empowerment back in like ancient Greece. I think it's gonna be so interesting to read. It's a very different genre. Again, I think it's a literary fiction book. I don't know what's with me in literary fiction lately, because I also bought My Year of Rest and Relaxation only because I found the vintage cover, which I think is so much better than the original one. So I think I'm gonna read that soon as well, but for now it's just staying there. Only because it's June and only because it's summer. I want to read Reckless by Elsa Silver this June, because her books in my head are all so much summer. I'm so excited to get into the story. This is a trope I never read, but it's a accidental pregnancy trope. I've never read anything like this, and I'm so intrigued to get into the story because this is not really usually my genre or my vibe. This is about Winter and Theo. Winter is Summers from the first book in the series, sister, and Theo is Rhett from the first book, protege. It's a lot of people's favorite, and I'm really excited to get into it, so it's in my June TBR for now. The next one is so excited. Pun intended, guys. The Unmaking of June Farrow. I don't want to read this in June. I've seen so many people talk about this book everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, book talk. Everybody loves this book, and I don't think I've read anything like this before. It's quite short as well. It's only like 300 pages. and it's about this curse. Oh, or about disappearance. I thought it was a curse. Anyway, fate, disappearance, I don't know. Seems so interesting. Have zero clue what it's about, but I'm really excited to get into this because the cover, I'm sorry, but this is a beautiful book and I'm really excited. Then we have the two books that are the higher ones on my June TBR that they're not out yet. First one, we have Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver that comes out on the 4th of June, and I couldn't be more excited. I need to finish my book before the 4th of June because best believe I am dropping everything and reading Leather and Lark. This is the second book. I don't know what the series is called, but the first one is Butcher and Blackbird. It's about two serial killers killing serial killers, and you know what? They fall in love. Guy falls first. They have this little annual trip of going in a random state and fighting the bad guy and killing them. So this was a 5-6 star read for me when I read it. It was so different, so refreshing, so funny. I loved it, but please check the trigger warnings before you get into the series because there's a lot of disturbing little. And then the next one is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is one of my queens. I love her. Bride was a 5-star read for me. I don't care what you say, but I loved every single thing about Bride. They say it's her spiciest book yet. And the trope is a trope you find in every other book. Like, it's so basic, but I love it so much. I think it's enemies to lovers, I think, but whatever it is, I don't care. She's one of my favorites. I love the way she writes characters. I think they're also funny. They have so much banter and I love them so much. So we have so many new exciting releases coming out this month. Although now I do have my little Kindle here. I can literally get so many books. Oh, by the way, look at my little decorations. Love. I have so many books in here that I can read that I literally don't have to buy, and it makes me so excited. I can read the Addicted series finally, because trying to get those books in the UK, it's gonna cost you a fortune. What's that about? Okay, what's that about? What I'm gonna do all summer. I'm just not gonna do anything else this summer. Me and my Kindle are gonna be me and my Kindle against the world. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Let me know if you have any books to recommend me for June, and I will see you all in my next one.